Hi, welcome to the virtual orientation for the 33 RBTS Jay Flight by Jayco. We're going to begin our orientation on the outside of the RV, and we're going to begin near the front. First thing that we're going to come to is your side marker light here. You will notice that there is an extra body to it. That is for a optional side view camera. That side view camera, while not included, can be purchased separately and will give you access in transport or when the vehicle is parked of both sides of your RV. There is also an optional rear view camera as well. All three cameras can be monitored via a head unit that is plugged into the 12 volt of the tow vehicle. Let's take a look inside your front pass-through storage compartment. You can see there's a few items here. We have the receiver for your Blackstone grill. The receiver is placed here. There's a quick connect port to connect you to the propane system of the RV, which is done via this quick connect here. Also in this front storage compartment, you will see that we have your manual crank for your stabilization jacks and the manual crank for your electric tongue. If we drop down, we will point out your stabilization jacks. There are 4 of them located on the 4 corners of the trailer. At no time should these jacks be used to level your trailer. They should only be used to stabilize the RV once it's mostly level. It's a good idea to bring some blocking, often 6x6s, are the type of blocks of choice. Alright, as we make our way around to the front of the RV, first thing we're going to come to is your battery storage area here, and directly underneath we have your safety breakaway switch. The safety breakaway switch is attached to the tow vehicle via this loop end. In the event that your tow vehicle is separated from the RV, the pin will be pulled free of the housing, engaging the trailer brake. I have seen it a couple times where this gets stepped on or tripped on or caught up in something, and it will partially pull the pin free of the housing, which will engage the trailer brakes, but it isn't always obvious that it is pulled free. So if you are having issues with the braking of your RV, this is worth taking a look to make sure that it is fully seated in the housing. Next thing we're going to look at is your propane storage, a double 30-pound bottle storage system, complete with a crossover regulator. This hardcover is included, and it gives you access to everything via this handy window. However, we're going to take this off, so bear with me if it's a little loud. And if you get motion sickness, there, cover removed, now you have full access. This way we can take a look at your crossover regulator that connects the 2 30-pound propane bottles to the rest of the propane system of the RV. So at the moment, the crossover regulator, you can see the handle is pointing towards this 30-pound bottle. This 30-pound bottle, when it drops below a predetermined amount of pressure, it will automatically cross over and draw from the second bottle. Now the pressure amount is determined by the regulator and is not adjustable. Directly in front of your propane storage, we'll have your electric tongue jack. You'll notice that there is a rubber port here. This can be removed And the manual crank that I showed you in the front storage compartment can be utilized here in order to raise your tongue up and down, so you're never left without the ability to hitch on or unhitch. We have a switch for the electric functioning up and down. And we also have a little light on front that can help with loading or hitching up at night. As we make our way around, we'll make note of another light on the front here. Always handy early morning, late at night. The more light, the better. To just make things go more smoothly. We'll come around the other side. We'll just make quick note of the off-door marker light here with the camera housing, the camera body. And we'll continue to make our way down along the off-door side of the RV. And then the next thing we're going to come to is your black and gray water valve handles, as well as your gray and black water output. Now, one handy tip that some people like to do is always when you're relieving the RV of your black water, do the black water first. Let it go through, and then the gray water can kind of flush out the system here. So you'll see here at the end of this slide, you have a secondary gray water holding tank. And as such, just below the rear tire on the off-door side, there is the secondary gray water valve handle. Continue along. The next thing we're going to come to is your power supply for the RV. This is where you connect the campground power to the trailer. This is a 50 amp supply and a 50 amp cord. Therefore, we will provide you with this conversion to go from a 50 to a 30 amp. And also inside the RV, we have another conversion block that will take you from the 30 amp down to 15. That way you can utilize a 15 amp receptacle on the outside of your home if you wish to power your RV. The only thing I would mention is that the 15 amp circuit will most likely not be able to run your air conditioning. Now, directly above your power supply or your power input for the RV, we have your black tank flush. The black tank flush is used to flush out your black tank. You basically connect your garden hose to here. Before you turn the hose on, always make sure you go back and you open the valve for your black water before you turn on the water, and make sure you're already connected to your sewer. And above the black water flush, we have your cable, TV, and satellite input for the RV. This is where you connect your cable or satellite if you choose to use it. As we come around to the back, we'll just make note of the ladder access to the roof, as well as the housing for the optional rear view camera. I mentioned that already when I was talking about the side view cameras. Also on the rear of the RV, we have your potable water fill point. This is how you would fill your fresh tank. Your fresh tank is utilized or used if you're camping off grid and you're not going to have a water supply, or some campgrounds do not have potable water, so some people choose to fill their freshwater tank so they have a supply of potable water. To draw from this, you need to utilize the onboard water pump, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, directly below your freshwater inlet, we have your city water connection. Essentially, you connect your garden hose either from your home or from the RV park campground to the city water connection, and then it acts much like your connection to the city water at your home. Once the hose is connected and the tap is turned on, You will pressurize the onboard water system, and you can utilize it much like you would your water system at home. So we come around the door side again, almost come full circle here. We'll make note of your outdoor kitchen. Just get it open for you. Try not to get hit in the head with the door on camera. That would be maybe humorous to you, but painful for me. So you'll notice in the drawer we have your drain stop. Just a nice little outdoor kitchen. You have some extra storage. You have water supply and a refrigerator. Handy if you have kids and they're sleeping, you don't have to go inside to get everything. You can keep some items out in the fridge. We continue to move along the outside of the RV. The next thing of importance that we'll talk about is the venting-free refrigerator. It's important that this remain obstruction-free at all times in order for you to have proper functioning of the fridge. Also make note that the range hood fan vents through here. Right now, it is locked or closed. Not sure how well you can see anything. There's just these little tabs that you flip up, and then it's open and it works. However, when not in use, when you leave your RV or you're not camping, I would always make sure that that is closed. Also on the door side, we have the outside access, I should say, to your hot water tank. The things to note here are your drain plug or drain cap and your pressure relief valve. Anytime you're going to drain the hot water tank and it's pressurized, I would always open the pressure relief valve first and then remove the drain cap or plug, as when fully pressurized, once you get to the last couple threads, they will kind of shoot out of there pretty hard if you're not careful. Also, on this side, underneath your awning here, we have a mount for a TV, as well as a output for your cable or satellite and 120 volt power to operate that TV. We also have speakers, 2 of them under your awning. They can be used with the stereo inside the RV. Now that we've covered the outside, let's go inside and we'll take a look. As we step up into the RV, it's always important to know where the safety equipment is in case of an emergency. I like the placement just inside the door. That way it's easily accessible both inside and out if you're as you do cook in either place, and that would be one of the most likely spots anyways for the need of your fire extinguisher. So as we stand up, we're going to take a look at your J command system. Couple things. I'm not going to cover every single thing in here. It would be a video unto itself. Just a couple items so you can hopefully move around the screen a little better and function and kind of help you figure out how it functions a bit. The basic functionality, we have different screens with different functions. The way to change between screens is with this button here. So if I click this, you'll see that I go to the AC and furnace section, and then we go to just a settings section, tanks to tank levels, your water pump, electric water heater and gas water heater switching, and your motors, so all your slides and your awning. So this is how you select between those screens, and once you get to the screen you want, so let's say slide or awning, Then we use the select button underneath this one, the select, and that will move you through the various options on each screen. Once you come to the option that you want, if you look over here, there's two more buttons, and depending on what option you're on, they will have different values. So because I'm on a slide, these two buttons will work as extension and retraction. However, if I change screens, and let's say I go to screen with your water pump and gas heater net, now you'll notice that those buttons have changed to function as on and off. So right now we're on the gas water heater. Let's say we wanted to go to it on electric. You'd use, again, this button here to switch between items on the screen, and then over here and you'd click the on button. The other thing to note is on the settings screen, you can pair your device, device meaning smartphone, tablet, etc. That's either, I don't know if any other platforms are supported, but for sure Android and Apple products are supported. So if you have a phone or a tablet, you can actually pair your device with the J command system, and that will allow you to use much of the functioning that you have here from your phone. So you can walk around the outside of the RV, put your slides out, that way you can always know if there's any obstructions or obstacles. You can also put your awning out and turn your hot water tank on and off and all that. So you can do all sorts of things with the with that. Basically what you do, you would go to either the Apple Store or App Store for Apple and get your download the J Command app, or go to the Android Play Store, whatever it's actually called, I'm not sure, and download the J Command app from there. And once you've done that, as soon as you open the app, it'll take you through step-by-step instructions to pair your device, including what you have to do on this screen here. So the last thing I'm going to show you, or the last couple things, are you have some quick buttons. The first one turns all the lights on and off. You have a quick button for your water pump. So if I press it, it'll turn the water pump on and bring me to the screen with the water pump and water heater functioning. So that automatically turns it off. Turns it on, sorry. I'm gonna turn it off. And then we have your temperature, a quick set temperature button, and it's going to take me to the screen with all the temperature. Now right now nothing is on. If I wish to turn anything on, I cycle through here for your heat, your cool, and then everything off. And I don't really want to listen to the compressor and the fan go through on the AC while I'm trying to do the video, so we won't actually let it run. But then you can also from here set the temperature as well. So the next thing we're going to come to, we have a switch here. This switch is used to switch you between your fireplace and your electric hot water heater. You cannot run both at the same time, so if you wish to be utilizing your fireplace, you will have to have the water heater. You'll have to have it set to propane, not electric. Also in this area we have switching for the awning lights, as well as another way to switch all the lights on and off inside the main portion of the RV. I'm going to take a minute, show you your television. And the important thing to note here is the antenna booster, or the signal booster for your antenna. It will interfere with the signal and quality of your cable or satellite if you have it. So right now it's on antenna. If we push this button, you'll see that little white light switches sides. Now we're ready to watch your cable or satellite. So if you're having any issues with signal or reception, come here and just take a look and make sure it's on the right setting for your need or purpose. Now we did talk about your stereo. When we talked about your speakers on the outside of the RV, this stereo does have two zones, A and B. Zone A would be inside the RV, and Zone B would be the speakers I showed you previously. To go along with that, the stereo also has some different functionalities. We have some alarm functioning, but more importantly, it also offers HDMI connectivity along with an auxiliary connectivity as well. We make our way into the bathroom. Just point out the nice corner shower. I really like the look of this. And you'll see that the cabinet is askew or kind of open already. I did that because behind the cabinet on the bottom, we have your access, the inside access to your hot water tank. So I removed these two red Robertson screws already. And now, as you can see, we have access to the important portion of the hot water tank. We have two valves right here and here. Currently they're set up pointing towards the tank itself. That means the water is going to flow into the tank and back out again. So you will have your water flow through the tank. That's perfect. That's what you want for regular use. However, if you're choosing to winterize on your own, it's important that you switch this so they are in line like that with this piping, and that loops around and avoids the hot water tank altogether or bypasses it. That way, when you're winterizing, you do not need to fill your whole hot water tank with antifreeze, as you can drain that via the drain plug and the pressure relief valve I showed you earlier anyways. The last thing I want to show you in the bathroom here is the GFCI for the RV. These GFCIs will have other receptacles in the RV connected to them on the load side. What that means is, if for any reason this is tripped, so you see that red light on, that will mean anything on the load sign is not functioning. In order to get it to function again, we would press the top button, which is the reset, and then everything connected to the low side should function again. Some things that might be connected to the load side, or should be, would be any plug in your water, so a counter in the kitchen, bathroom, such as this, or all the receptacles on the outside of the RV. Make our way into the bedroom. We'll see we have this mounting bracket for a TV, and this bracket, via fairly quick connect, you'll notice that the mounting block that was on the outside of the RV is the same as this one. What that means is you can quickly and easily take this bracket, place it on the outside in order to attach a TV to the outside of the RV. And you can watch it underneath your awning. Also here, as well as the mounting position, is a pre-wired location for output for satellite or cable, as well as 120 volt power. Also inside your bedroom here, we have emergency exit. It's important to know where the emergency exit are and how to use them. In order to use this, it is pretty simple. Push down on the black tab, push the red handle in towards the window, and then pop it out. Once the handle is fully perpendicular with the side of the RV, you push the handle all the way out free of the RV, pull this red tab to remove the screen, and then you can escape to safety. Right above this window, we have your pre-wired location for solar. There are connection points on the roof of the RV, as well as pre-wired location here for a head unit to monitor the solar system. It is sold separately, but it is pre-wired, so it makes it a lot easier to install. All right, we will leave the bedroom behind here, make our way to the main area of the RV, making note of your carbon monoxide propane detector or gas alarm. This is an important piece of safety equipment to go along with your emergency exits and your fire extinguisher. It's something that you'll see now. There's a red or green light, on there. That's to indicate that the system is functioning properly and as intended. And directly above that green light, you'll see that there's a button. That button, when pressed, will do a test of the system. You'll hear a series of loud beeps. This light will turn to red, and then you will, if the system is good to go or is functioning properly, it will return to a solid green light. Now, it's important to test this every so often to make sure it's functioning. And before we talk about that, I just want to make note, it does say here in the fine print, but if you don't have your bifocals to read all that, you might not be able to see it. Basically, there are different things that can set off this alarm that are not necessarily what it's intended to detect. Paint is the big thing. If you do any painting in or around this, it very likely will set this off. So as far as testing it periodically, we usually suggest that you do it in conjunction with the testing of your smoke detector or smoke alarm. The reason being, it's a pretty standard convention to test every 6 months during the daylight savings time or when you change your clock. So if you were to test this, make sure the batteries are functioning or replace the batteries, then you might as well just go ahead and do that and make sure it's functioning properly. That way you know you're always protected. I'm going to take a quick second just to roll this back and we'll show you this. This is the conversion block. It'll convert your 30 amp plug end to a 15 amp plug end. I talked about it outside. I just wanted to show you that this is where we commonly will put it, in the kitchen sink. Alright, let's go to the kitchen portion here. We will... Now, I guess I'm just doing this automatically, but I should let you know. Before you try to light your stovetop, always remove the glass from the equation. If you try to light one of these burners with that glass down, you will shatter it. Not a good way to start a camping trip. So these have an automatic sparking system. You turn to the light position. Once in the light position, turn the sparker and it will automatically light. Now I have the gas turned off, so it just used the residual gas in the system, and now it's run out. So the three range top burners work the same. The only difference is when utilizing your stove portion, you still turn it to the light position as such. But the difference is you press and hold it to release the gas, and while you continue to press and hold, then you turn the sparking knob. Also, again, I did it automatically, but never light the appliance with the door closed. Always make sure you open it before you light it. And before you drive away or travel again, I would always make sure that this glass top is closed, as you don't want it to flop around while you're driving and possibly break. And as it says right on here, let the stove cool down before you close the top, just to make sure. If we slide to our right here, the next thing we're going to come to is your refrigerator. Now this refrigerator will work on gas and electric. And as you'll see in a second here, as it's trying to light on gas, generally it'll try to light 3 times, and if it's unable to do so, it will flash to indicate that there was a problem. Or in this case, I believe it'll just show you a red light. However, we also have an auto mode and an electricity only mode. Auto will switch automatically between gas and electricity, always choosing electricity if it's present, and Electric mode obviously just uses electricity. As we continue to make our way around the main living area of the RV, the next important thing we'll come to is your load center. This is where you'll find the breakers, much like you'd find in your home, and they function the same way, and your fuses. These fuses are very similar to what you might find in your vehicle. One benefit here is if there is a circuit that is not functioning properly, there is a red LED light that will light up beside the affected circuit. As we open the door to the bunk room, we'll turn on some lights. We will see you have this nice little dinette area, and like all RVs, these dinettes can remove the legs and be placed down on these ledges for an additional seating or sleeping area. And this can be lowered for a third bunk, so there's lots of sleeping space available in this bunk room. As well as those two bunks, we have these two dedicated bunks that provide ample sleeping space for all your kids, or your friends' kids, I guess. Have lots of storage and closet space here as well. Important thing to note in this area, other than your children, is the second emergency exit. Operates the same as the first, so I'm not going to go through it again, but it's a good idea to make sure anybody sleeping in here understands that it's there and how to use it. But on this bottom bunk here, on the door side, you'll see this piece of wood here that can be lifted up, and you have access to your water pump. Now this water pump can be used to draw from the freshwater tank or from this fill hose here. And what you would use this for is to winterize your RV. Put the fill tube into the antifreeze jug. Make sure you switch the hot water tank to bypass so you don't fill up your hot water tank with antifreeze. And you must switch this valve here. At the moment, it is set to draw from the freshwater tank. If we want it to draw from the fill tube, we'll have to just turn this valve, and you'll see now it's pointing actually in the direction of the fill tube. But for regular use in camping, you want it to be in this position here. Also in this bunk area, we have a pre-wired area for a TV. One is not provided. However, the 120 volt power and the cable or satellite TV connection is provided if you choose to purchase a TV on your own. Thank you very much, and congratulations on your purchase.